I stayed up late last night to watch the massive military parade that was happening in China because it was sort of a big deal. A historical moment indeed, because everyone from what they're calling the new axis of evil was there. You got Xi Jinping of China, you got Putin of Russia, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, amongst others, all standing in front of this massive display of military might. And it was obvious that the point of this parade and the people who were there with Xi Jinping, it was obvious that this was meant to send a message to America. And look, you guys know I am always Team America. I am always America first. And I know that you can't read too much into these military parades. But what I will say is that the military parade that we had here in America a few months ago was absolutely embarrassing compared to what I saw last night. I know we have a strong military. I know we got some badasses in our military. But the soldiers who were at our military parade could not even march in step. And let's be real. A lot of the people in our military these days, they're there for a check. They're not ready to fight. They're not ready for war. And a lot of them don't even really care about defending America. Whereas every single last soldier that was at that parade yesterday in China, they are all TTG, trained to go. They are ready to fight, and they are ready to put their lives on the line for China at any moment. So it's just seeing the energy, it's just totally different. And some of the military equipment and technology that was put on display was kind of impressive now. A lot of this stuff, it hasn't been used in battle. And some people say that China has what you call I believe a paper tiger army, where they got this impressive looking equipment, but does it work? A lot of it is faulty. At least that's what people say. Maybe they're coping, maybe it's true. But they rolled out some impressive equipment, stuff that looked way better than the stuff that we had in our military parade. And what really stood out to me is the fact that they rolled out a bunch of direct energy weapons. Now, you remember during the Maui fires a couple of years ago in Lahaina, when there were a lot of conspiracies that, hey, maybe some of these wildfires are being started by laser weapons, direct energy weapons, and entire neighborhoods were burned to the ground except for a house with a blue roof or a blue car would be in perfect shape. And there were a lot of theories that, hey, maybe they're using direct energy laser weapons to start fires. Well, when those theories started going around, the U.S. government and politicians and everyone were shooting those theories down, acting like people were crazy, saying that this technology doesn't exist. They were making fun of people, trying to discredit people, including myself for pointing out some of the weird stuff that was going on. So I find it funny that a couple of years ago, even though I knew for a fact then, it was publicly available knowledge then that direct energy weapons existed, they tried to pretend that they didn't. And now we got military parades where they're just marching these things and rolling these things right out there in public. They're not trying to hide it anymore. They got freaking laser weapons like it's Star Wars, folks. And China put them on display yesterday. But what I'm actually here to talk about is not really about the parade and all of this military equipment. What I'm here to talk about is something that was said leading up to this event. Because Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, Putin, and other world leaders, they were all walking together talking. They got their translators kind of talking for them, talking loudly, because, there's a crowd and stuff. And there was a hot mic moment where we got to hear some of the conversation that Xi Jinping was having with Putin and Kim Jong-un. And during this conversation, he said some really bizarre stuff. And it's kind of floating everywhere on the internet right now. I don't know if you have seen it, but during his conversation with Putin, he's talking about how, hey, you know, people who are 70 years old are babies these days. He talks about how he may be able to, or they may be able to achieve immortality. It's weird because you got this new axis of evil, that's what they're calling it. You got these 3 or 4, I mean, there's more, but you got these main 3 powerful world leaders here, right? And it's obvious that they're showing off their military because they're getting ready for a massive military conflict with the U.S. But the discussions that they're having discussions about immortality. And Xi Jinping is like, yeah, you know, we just replace organs with better organs and you live forever. It was some wild stuff that they were talking about. I want to go ahead and show you a clip so you can hear it for yourself, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts. You gotta understand, folks, as all of this is going down in China, it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning where I live, and I hadn't gotten any sleep. And I'm getting tired, I'm almost falling asleep as I'm watching this stuff play out. And I hear this talk about, what? You're gonna transplant organs and live forever, immortality. And everything was just like playing out like a movie because, like I said, I'm on the verge of falling asleep. We got all of these world leaders who are kind of like supervillains to us here in America because, you know, Kim Jong-un and Putin, they've always been painted out to be these powerful villains, right? And you got these world leaders and they're standing there and you got like these nuclear missiles coming through, these missile launchers, the direct energy weapons. You got thousands upon thousands of troops marching in formation and tanks and everything going by. And these powerful people are up there talking about how they're going to live forever. And they're just going to transplant other people's organs into themselves and achieve immortality. It literally, I felt like I was watching a Van Damme movie or something, like Steven Seagal. Like it was crazy to actually watch all of this stuff happen live. I understand it doesn't have the same impact now that you're watching now, but that wasn't all that was said in the conversation. That's just the clip that I could find online. Plus, this was caught during a hot mic moment, so I just wonder what conversations are being had when we're not able to listen, because we weren't supposed to hear that part. I want you guys to understand, it was a hot mic moment. We were not supposed to hear that conversation about the immortality stuff, but we did. So now I'm wondering, what type of meetings are you really having behind the scenes? Because you're just walking around, you know, your military parade, you're showing these other world leaders how powerful your military is. Like, yeah, side with us over the U.S. We're going to take the U.S. now. By the way, we achieved immortality. We're just going to keep pumping different organs into ourselves. It's, man, we live in a crazy world. We live in such a crazy world. And it is so blatantly obvious, and it has been for years, that we are reaching a boiling point, right? We are reaching a boiling point, and I really do think that in the near future, and when I say the near future, I don't mean next week or the week after, but I believe that sometime in our lifetime, things are just going to totally hit the fan. I think we're going to see all-out war, all-out craziness, and it's already kind of starting, but I think it's going to get worse. And the closer Russia and China and North Korea, you know, get together, and India maybe even comes in the mix, possibly, I don't know. Different countries are coming into the mix, Iran, Venezuela. We're headed towards something big. And the rest of the world already knows it. They're already preparing. And I feel like your average person in America is still sitting here with their head in the sand, worried about what they see on their phones, not really realizing that there's a bigger world out there. Because Americans, I love America, but we're self-centered. We feel like we're the center of the universe, or we're the center of the world. And it's easy for us to get wrapped up in everything we got going on here without really thinking about the outside world. But the outside world is thinking about us. And they got their eyes on us. And they're getting stronger, they're getting prepared, and they're coming together. We got unlikely alliances forming to come at the world superpower, which is the U.S. And we could be dethroned as the world superpower here in this near future. We'll have to see, but for now, I want to hear from you down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.